there's a bitter truth you need to hear. Not the most skilled will win. Not the kindest will be rewarded. But the one who dares to do what others won't. The one who gets their hands dirty. When everyone else hesitates. Picture yourself standing in a room full of people hungry for success. Some of them believe in decency. They work hard, stick to their principles, and live by the belief that goodness will be rewarded. But then, you see someone who doesn't care about any of that. He leads effortlessly. He crushes others with a smile. He climbs to the top with cold, calculated indifference. And somehow, he's the one who wins. Why? Why is it that while you're trying to do the right thing, the worst people go further, get richer, and receive more praise? Is it possible that this world was never built for the virtuous, but for those ruthless enough to bend the game to their will? In today's video, we confront a truth that's not easy to swallow, but it's one you need if you want to survive. Guided by the mind of Nietzsche, the philosopher who ripped the illusion off morality and exposed the true nature of power, we'll explore why the immoral often rise, whether morality is a burden in the game of dominance, and how you can protect your soul without becoming prey in a world filled with wolves. This isn't a video to comfort you. It's a wake-up call. For those who are tired of playing by the rules, only to keep losing. For those who refuse to become cruel, but are done being the hunted. If you're ready to face the truth and reclaim control over your life, click like to confirm your awakening, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another deep and vital journey. Because it's time you understood something. Power doesn't wait for good people. It only goes to those bold enough to take it. Intelligently. You were taught that if you're good, the world will treat you kindly. That if you work hard, you'll be rewarded. That if you live with integrity, you'll be loved and respected in return. But then you grew up, and the truth slapped you in the face with a cold hand. You see liars climbing the corporate ladder, manipulators being celebrated in society, and heartless people rising to power with no shame or remorse. Meanwhile, you're still waiting. Waiting for recognition. Waiting for someone to applaud your honesty. Waiting for life to finally reap your quiet dedication. But you wait. And while you're waiting, someone else is moving. They're not waiting for permission. They don't ask for validation. They don't hesitate before stepping into the arena. And strangely, the world doesn't punish them. It rewards them. With power, with money, with praise, and even with admiration from the crowd. So we begin to wonder, is society broken? Has morality become outdated in a world where the shameless rise to the top? No. Society isn't broken. This isn't a glitch. It's the blueprint. The success of bad people isn't a coincidence. It's the natural result of a game most people don't even know they're playing. You see, the world doesn't reward goodness. It rewards strategy. It rewards action. It rewards the ones who move, not the ones who wait. While you're lost in inner conflict, afraid to hurt anyone, someone else already made the decision. While you hesitate, still doubting yourself, they've already taken the position. While you're still asking for permission, they've already claimed what you wanted. And here's the danger. Society won't tell you that you're falling behind. It'll call you kind. It'll pat you on the back and say, be patient, while it keeps handing power to those who never needed anyone's approval. So the real question isn't, why do bad people succeed? The question is, are you ready to understand how this game really works? Before everything you want is taken from your hands, don't let your innocence turn you into ideal prey. Click like if you're finally beginning to see what's really happening. And subscribe to the channel if you want to keep walking this path of raw, unapologetic truth that society desperately wants to hide from you. The problem isn't that bad people succeed. The real issue is this: we don't understand the game they're playing. You were taught that power is dangerous, that the moment someone gains power, they risk corruption. That strength will make you forget your morals and eventually lose yourself. But that's the perspective of the weak, of those who've never held real power, of those who only view it from below. Nietzsche saw it differently. He didn't look at power through a moral lens. He didn't divide the world into good and evil, right and wrong. To Nietzsche, power was simply this: a fact, colorless, immoral, unbiased, like gravity, like fire. Power doesn't care if you're a good person. It only asks one question: are you bold enough to reach for it? In a world where resources are limited, opportunities are scarce, and the slow are eliminated, power becomes a matter of survival. And when seen from that lens, the moral question becomes secondary. The real question is this: are you willing to claim what you want? Or will you let it be taken by someone who dares more than you? Nietzsche didn't glorify cruelty, but he exposed the hypocrisy of the moral system society uses to keep you obedient. He believed the morality you were taught as a child wasn't truth. It was a tool, a system designed not to set you free, but to control you. And if you're not aware of it, you'll live your whole life by someone else's rules, without ever realizing you never wrote any for yourself. It's time to look power in the eye. It's time to stop asking, is this the right thing to do? And start asking, will this help me reclaim my authority over my own life? If Nietzsche's words are beginning to awaken something inside you, click like to hold on to that inner awakening, and subscribe to the channel to go deeper, where illusions of morality are stripped away, and you begin to see reality for what it truly is. Picture two people, standing face to face on the battlefield of life. One of them, eyes steady, breathing calm, no hesitation, no need for permission. He's the one who creates the rules, who redefines what is good and what is right. The other, hesitant, waiting for approval, hoping the world will be fair to him. As long as he stays kind, he lives by rules written by someone else. And Nietzsche asks, which one survives? Who ends up deciding the fate of the game? From that question, Nietzsche introduced one of his most controversial ideas: the existence of two opposing moral systems, master morality and slave morality. Master morality is the morality of the strong, of warriors, conquerors, and creators. They don't need to be told what's right. They don't wait for the world to give them permission to be great. They define their own values. To them, good is anything that makes them stronger, anything that fuels their creativity, elevates their position, and carves their mark onto the world. The strong don't see weakness as something noble. They see it as something to overcome. Slave morality, on the other hand, is the morality of the weak, of those who can't seize what they want by their own hands. They survive through submission, humility, and sacrifice. They label strength as evil, ambition as sinful, and the desire to rise as arrogance. But Nietzsche saw through the mask. That isn't morality. It's strategy, a psychological survival mechanism invented by those who lacked the strength to claim power. So they rewrote the rules to make their weakness look like virtue. It's a hard truth, but you need to hear it. What we call traditional morality is not innocent. It's a weapon of language, designed to make the strong feel guilty for their strength, and to make the weak feel noble in their surrender. But here's the truth. Slave morality doesn't stop the rise of the ruthless. In fact, it enables them, because while good men hesitate, afraid of becoming bad, the ones chasing power don't care about that at all. They just keep moving forward, while you're still apologizing for daring to want more than what others expect of you. Stop and ask yourself, are you living by the morality of the strong? Or have you been numbing yourself with the morality of the weak? If you feel a tightness in your chest as you hear this, that's not guilt. That's the signal of awakening. Click like if you're starting to see through the polished mask of social morality, and subscribe to the channel to keep going on this journey, where we peel away the illusions and reclaim the right to define ourselves. Here's a truth that very few dare to face. The ruthless don't just win, they win easily. And it's not because they're smarter, it's not because they're more talented, it's because they are not held back by morality. While you're torn between right and wrong, fairness and injustice, they've already made their move. Quick, decisive, cold, no hesitation, no guilt, no need for forgiveness, no craving for approval. And that is an undeniable advantage in a world where time is the most valuable currency. In nature, the lion doesn't apologize for hunting. The storm doesn't ask permission to destroy a city. The ocean doesn't regret sinking a ship. Why? Because nature doesn't operate on morality. It runs on one law: survival. Nietzsche saw this clearly. He understood that no matter how complex human society appears, beneath all laws and social contracts, we are still in a survival game, just like the wild. We pretend things are governed by law, by ethics, by justice. But the truth is, the fight never stopped. It just became keter. More sophisticated, less visible, but no less brutal. And in that fight, the one who acts first gains the edge. The one who doesn't feel guilt moves faster. The one who isn't afraid of being disliked climbs higher. And the one who doesn't waste time apologizing is already winning. But Nietzsche didn't tell you to become blindly ruthless. He didn't tell you to crush everything in your path. He simply warned you. That hesitation rooted in false morality will destroy you. And if you don't understand the real rules of the game, you won't just lose, you'll become a pawn in someone else's strategy. They will manipulate your kindness. They will exploit your willingness to yield. And they will make you feel guilty for daring to want more than what society allows. So look at yourself and ask, when was the last time you stayed silent out of fear of being judged? When was the last time you denied yourself what you truly wanted, because you were afraid of hurting someone's feelings? If self-sacrifice has become your default, let me remind you of this. Self-sacrifice isn't morality if it turns you into a victim. Click like if you're beginning to see the true face of the power game. And subscribe to the channel if you want to learn how to play without losing yourself with strength, clarity, and no longer being used by those who hide behind a mask of fake virtue. Do you know what the people who control the world have in common? It's not that they're more beautiful than you. It's not that they're more talented. And it's certainly not because they're better. It's because they possess a certain type of psychology, one that most people never develop. They are relentlessly ambitious. While you're still trying to find balance, they're pulling all-nighters to gain every possible advantage. They are cold enough not to fear being disliked. They don't need to be loved. They need to win. They feel less guilt, not because they're evil, but because they don't let emotions override logic. They don't pause in the middle of a battle to wonder if they've gone too far. Modern psychology calls this low affective empathy, a reduced sensitivity, especially toward those who stand in their way. But Nietzsche didn't need scientific terminology. He saw it clearly long before. Those who rise to the top aren't always cruel, but they are always decisive. Because in a world where opportunity waits for no one, hesitation is a death sentence. Look through history, from Julius Caesar to Steve Jobs, from tyrants to geniuses. You'll see a repeating pattern. The winners are always the ones who made bold decisions and accepted the consequences afterward. They didn't wait for things to fall into place. They carved out space for themselves. They claimed the opening before anyone else even realized it was there. But here's the great paradox. The very traits that help them rise can also be the ones that drag them down. Because if a person relies solely on ruthlessness, but lacks wisdom, lacks real human connection, lacks the inner strength to control themselves, then eventually, they get consumed by the very fire they use to dominate. This world has seen many strong people come and go like storms, only to vanish, leaving nothing but destruction behind. So if you think success is just about doing whatever it takes, think again. True power comes from inner strength, from the courage to act, but also the discipline to not become a monster in the process. Click like if you're beginning to realize that power isn't for the weak, but it also isn't for those who lose control. And subscribe to the channel if you're ready to learn how to become powerful, smart, conscious, and unshakable from within. From a young age, you were lulled to sleep by a beautiful story, that if you work hard, you'll be rewarded, that if you live with integrity, life will give back in kind, that good will always triumph over evil. But then you grew up, and you began to see the cracks. The hardest working people are not always the richest. The kindest are often the most exploited, and those who love sincerely are the ones who get hurt the most. You're not wrong. You're simply waking up from a dream society implanted in your mind since childhood, the dream of a fair world. The truth is this: justice is not a law of nature. It's a story told through religion, moral teachings, and Hollywood films. A sedative to keep the masses calm. A golden leash to keep you obedient inside a system you don't control. Nietzsche called this the greatest illusion of mankind. He didn't hate justice. He hated the blind belief that justice is automatic. There's a term in modern psychology for this: the just world fallacy. It's the illusion that everything happens for a reason, that bad people will always be punished, and good people will always be rewarded. But this belief, this comforting lie, it stops you from acting. You sit there, waiting for justice to fall from the sky like magic, telling yourself, just be good, and life will take care of the rest. But while you're waiting, someone else is claiming the position you deserve. Here's what you must understand. The world was not built to be fair. It was built to function according to rules that favor those who understand them. You can't change reality by complaining about it. You can only change yourself. To enter the game with open eyes and a heart no longer blinded by fantasy. So, stop waiting for justice. Start building power, not to become cruel, but to stop being the victim of those who never believed in justice the way you did. Click like if you've ever felt that painful ache, watching good people get left behind, and subscribe to the channel if you're ready to rise, not through tears, but through awareness and strength. After everything you've just heard, there's probably one question echoing in your mind. So what am I supposed to do? Become cold-blooded just to survive in this world? The answer is no. You don't have to be ruthless, but you must be awake. Here's the truth. Most people live as if there are only two options. 1, be good and get stepped on. 2, be bad and win. But Nietzsche, with the piercing clarity of a mind far ahead of its time, revealed that there's always a third path. It's the path of someone who is both powerful and principled, someone who isn't blindly cruel, but also refuses to let their kindness be exploited. Someone who knows the rules of the game, but doesn't allow the game to rewrite who they are. Someone who strategizes like a tactician, yet still lives by a value system they created for themselves. This path isn't easy. It doesn't come with instant glory. There won't be applause right away. And yes, at times, you'll be misunderstood, labeled cold, accused of being calculated, told you've changed. But in return, you will no longer be anyone's pawn. You will move with clarity, and every action will become a step toward inner freedom. Nietzsche never told you to be ruthless. He simply warned you not to blindly believe in beautiful ideas without understanding their true nature. He didn't promote manipulation. He encouraged transcendence, not over others, but over yourself. So the question is no longer, should I be good or bad? It's this: am I awake enough to live by my own truth, without letting this world swallow me whole? If you can answer that honestly, you've already stepped one foot out of the crowd. Click like if you choose the third path, strong, but not heartless. And subscribe to the channel to continue the journey of rebuilding your inner strength, not through cruelty, but through wisdom and personal power. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff. Behind you is the world you've always known, filled with limitations, expectations, and rules no one dares to question. In front of you lies a foggy void. No signs, no trail, no one who's gone before, just you and a choice. Step forward or turn back. Most people retreat because of uncertainty, because of the fear of being alone, because they've spent their lives learning how to fit in with the crowd. But a rare few jump, not out of recklessness, but because they know only by leaving the ground behind can they ever learn to fly. That is the Übermensch, Nietzsche's idea of the Superman. Not a comic book hero, not a tyrant with an iron fist, but a human being who has transcended themselves. The Übermensch doesn't live by borrowed morality. They don't need society's approval to define who they are. They don't chase applause. They don't bow to expectations. They never allow themselves to be caged by someone else's limits. They create new values. They say, I no longer need to live the way I used to. They know true power isn't about controlling others, it's about mastering themselves. The Übermensch isn't the winner of the old game. They rewrite the game. They build a new world from the ashes of the old one. You don't have to become someone else to walk this path. You just have to take off the masks you've worn for too long. You just have to ask the most forbidden question of all: who am I? If I no longer live to meet anyone's expectations, if that question sends chills down your spine, if something inside you just woke up, click like to mark the moment of your rebirth. And subscribe to the channel to continue your journey. One where you stop asking for permission, stop apologizing, and start becoming the most authentic version of who you are. Living like an Übermensch isn't some abstract philosophy. It's a way of life, a mindset, a choice you make again and again every single day. In a world where everyone is playing a role, trying to please, chasing approval more than freedom, the Übermensch walks the opposite direction. When the world tells you to blend in, the Übermensch chooses to stand apart, not for attention, but to protect their essence. When others choose comfort, the Übermensch confronts risk, criticism, and their own inner fear. While others ask for permission to live, the Übermensch declares their existence without apology. They don't wait until the time is right. They don't wait for support. They don't run from pain, because they know it is through pain that the real self is born. They don't chase success by society's definition. They redefine it, not as popularity or praise, but as becoming someone who cannot be controlled. And here's the most important part. The Übermensch is not emotionless. They feel deeply, but they are not slaves to their emotions. They get angry, but remain composed. They love without becoming dependent. They feel disappointment, but never let it destroy them, because they don't live to be loved. They live to be honest with themselves. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to live a little more honestly each day. Dare to say no to what you've been silently tolerating. Dare to be silent. When others demand explanations, dare to move forward. Even when the world tells you to stay still. If you're tired of living like a copy, if you're done trying to meet standards that were never yours, then it's time to live as an Übermensch, not to outdo others, but to rise above who you used to be. Click like if you're ready to step onto the path of becoming your true self. And subscribe to the channel to discover how to live with strength without cruelty, with depth without being broken, with difference while staying whole. It's time to make a clear distinction. There are two kinds of power. The first is borrowed power, built on fear, manipulation, and control. It comes quickly, but it collapses even faster, like a sandcastle in a storm. The moment people stop fearing you, you have nothing left. The second kind is real power, the kind that doesn't need to scream, doesn't need to prove, doesn't need to dominate, because it is created from within, from who you are, from the value you bring, from the grounded presence no one can ignore. Look around. Some people don't need to speak, yet their presence shifts the energy in the room. They don't make promises, but they always deliver. They don't chase opportunity, yet opportunity finds them. That is real power. Not because they know how to take, but because they know how to create. Nietzsche called this the power of the Übermensch, a person who doesn't need to extract value from others to feel worthy. They generate light from within. And because of that, people are drawn to them naturally, without force. They build businesses, not just to make money, but to make an impact. They spark movements, not for applause, but to birth something new. They reinvent themselves, not to outshine others, but to become the highest version of who they are. Do you want to become someone like that? Someone who never has to convince anyone, because your very presence is already a declaration. If so, you must change your relationship with power. Stop chasing. Start building, step by step, action by action, decision by decision. Don't take just to have. Create, so no one can take it from you. Click like if you've chosen the path of building true inner strength. And subscribe to the channel if you want to keep learning how to live with power, profound, steady, and untouchable by manipulation. By now, you've seen it. The truth about this world isn't gentle like a fairy tale. It's cold, it's brutal, and sometimes it seems like there's no place for honest souls. But that's only half the truth. The other half, Nietzsche saved for those who are brave enough to keep going, not to follow evil, but also not to be crushed by fake goodness. Because in the end, true power is not the ability to make others obey. It's not the authority to command. It's not the fear you plant in others' hearts. It's the ability to hold on to yourself. In a world constantly trying to turn you into a copy of itself, you might dominate an entire room. But if deep down you're still a child begging for validation, you're not truly strong. You might control other people. But if you can't control your own anger, your own fear, your own loneliness, then your power is hollow. The Übermensch, Nietzsche's ultimate ideal, isn't the strongest in appearance. They are the ones who are no longer ruled by old fears, old beliefs, old moral scripts. They don't react automatically. They choose deliberately how they exist. They don't run from the darkness. They walk into it. They understand it. And they come out the other side, stronger than ever. True strength doesn't scream. It's calm when others are chaotic. It's silent when you no longer need to prove anything. It's a gaze that doesn't beg to be noticed, yet commands attention. If you've made it this far, then a part of the Übermensch is already awakening within you. Click like if you can feel something shifting deep inside, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any step of the journey ahead. A journey where we don't just survive, but live with depth, with purpose, and beyond the reach of manipulation. Because in the end, the world doesn't need more winners. It needs more people who are self-possessed, people like you,